Savage and beautiful, John Norman's Gorean saga is brought to life in the Tales of Gore role-playing game and its companion world book, World of Gore. Take flight on a tarn, luxuriate in the bathhouses of Ar, pit your steel against the deadly Kuri, best your enemies and place them in your collar.
Welcome back to my channel. This is actually the first installment of tapes dealing with gore, how to live in gore, what is gore, and today I just want to show you the importance of gore. Well, behind me is over 200 cities. This is what's called the Gore Hub, and there's over 200 cities here. All those little red balls are actually teleport points to different cities. See? Glorious Hall, our Shadow Ball Village, and it is the largest role-play area in Second Life. All role-playing one particular area. Now, if you count even 10 people per city, that's over 2,000 players. At one time, there used to be 400 of them. And Gore has a particular philosophy that, unfortunately, is not politically correct, or should I say, fortunately, depending on your point of view. But basically, it is more than just a, how do I put it, just a sci-fi series. A lot more. People dress up in character in these in real life. People play this out. Many of them have been doing it for 20, 30 years in some cases. But let me give you a little bit of historical background. Another thing that's indicative, and I won't be very long doing this, I know some of you. They made a movie in 1987 called Gore, and then the second one was Outlaws of Gore in 1989. These are some of the actors. But notice down here it says, John Noman's Korean saga is one of the largest running, most successful series in the history of fantasy. Notice not science fiction, but fantasy. Although to be honest, it does cross over in the science fiction. But that's beside the point. Here we come back. This all was started by a man by the name of John Noman. Let me explain who he is. There he is. Now, what's fascinating about John Noman, he was born in the 30s, little ways back. He's now at the age of 89. Is the fact he attained his master's of arts from the University of Southern California, but in 1963 he got a PhD from Princeton University with a 149-page dissertation, and the title's terrible. Defense of Ethical Naturalism and Examination of Certain Aspects of Naturalistic Fallacy, with particular attention to the logic and open question argumentative. Now, who in the hell would know that a man who has a PhD from Princeton would be writing one of the most longest running fantasy series around, but has a philosophical underpinning that's the basis for most of the BDSM play in Second Life, and probably real life too. When a woman says, I'm a slave and I'm owned by you, that's coming out of Gore. But there's more to Gore than just that. Alright. Basically, John Noman did quite a bit of things. He was associate professor of philosophy at Queen College in the University of New York. He basically was a radio announcer and writer for KOLH in Lincoln, Nebraska. He was a small town, middle town boy. He was a story analyst for Warner Brothers Motion Pictures in Burbank, California, believe it or not. And he sold radio scripts. Now, back in, basically, let me get the date right. His first, Tarnsman of Gore was the first novel that he wrote. His young author was a doctor of philosophical logic, and he actually had read little fantasy. And he found he likes to write in the genre because, as many others, it gave him the freedom to explore new ideas. Now, he wrote this back in 1966. And let me show you. Hope I don't say that over and over. Here we go. But basically started out with Tarnsman of Gore, the one on the far left, Outlaws of Gore, Priest Kings of Gore, and Nomads of Gore. And he's written around 32 books, maybe 33. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He became a major player among a lot of people because it's more than just science fiction. It's a way of thinking. You may not agree with him, but if you do BDSM or basically do slave play, or for that matter, believe in medieval fantasy, he's your man for a number of reasons. Okay, now Gore is about We talk about it being science fiction and fantasy, and let me show you why. There we go. Gore is actually a planet. There it is. It's called Counter-Earth. Long time ago, aliens brought people from Earth and established the people of Gore. So they have some earthly tendencies, but they varied from their original foundation. Okay, so I want you to see this since we're talking about what it is. This is Gore. It has 3 moons that circle the Earth's sun. Now, it's shielded, and you'll tell that in a minute. As it comes around, you'll see that it's shielded by like a black hole. And all we see is stars from Earth. But that's Gore itself. Now, the other side, you'll see Earth. See it coming around? So essentially, we're in the same, there's the same sun. There's the Gore there. There's the Earth. And I want you to see this, a much better model of what Gore is. I love smoking cigars when I do this, so I'm going to start doing that with you guys. But that's what the basis of it is. Next, we're going to discuss several other aspects of it. But we're going to have some fun with this. The idea is to give you the underpinnings of how to play Gore as a character, where to buy clothes, that's always a trip, and things like that. So, and no, I'm not going to do a bunch of clothing things.
That's all, folks.